We have a very special guest in studio today. He is an Adventure Unknown member. He is the founder and head coach of Recalibrate and Gaining Ground Fitness and Performance, the great and powerful Josh Sheppard. Welcome to the show.
Sir.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And it's been a minute, or it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I'm glad we were
we've been
finally able to. I know we've been eyeing each other up for a bit, for about a year now, and make it happen. But I know you guys are busy. We were just talking before this about just being super consistent with the schedule and all of that. And sometimes it is hard to. You guys may have you feel this. It's hard to say yes to everything and everyone. Just like, okay, where do we cut?
Well, saying no is a superpower, man. Like if you can just say no,
it's a difficult thing. I mean, honestly, like for me, I have to really consciously say no on things. I am such a yes man naturally. Like I'm such a people pleaser by nature. Like I spent 10 years in the restaurant industry, service industry. Like I just want to always say yes. Yes. But I've really had to work on that over the last few years. Cause as I've got more things on my plate, I can only do so much. You know?
Well, in the beginning, when you're starting off too, you don't have a choice but to say yes to as many opportunities as possible. But then as you get busier and things start evolving, it's like you're going to drop the ball on something. So you might as well be super intentional with your focus, but it's still an ongoing pain in the ass for all of us.
Oh, 100%, dude. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, you weren't always in the fitness industry, from my understanding, right? So what's kind of your background? How did you get into this field?
Yeah. So, grew up like the rest of us, involved in sports and whatnot, right? That's a big integral part of my life. That of course, you have no choice, but you gotta being involved in the weight room and this and that. And I got hooked on that early on, but never it was just a meathead type thing. Hey, I'm just going to lift weights for sports. And then just at that point, you're young, you're in your 20s. It's I just don't want to look like a slouch. Okay.
Yeah. You want to look good and take your shirt off.
Right.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that was always a part of my life. Always lifted weights, always kind of cared about what I put in my mouth. I call it managing the fork and spoon, but not super serious. I mean, freaking frozen pizzas were in the, and they still are. We have kids now, but not taking it serious, I got into teaching. So I, wrapped up school. I got my degree in elementary education. So it's always weird. People are like, dude, you taught third grade. I'm like, yeah,
really?
I taught third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade.
Oh man.
A little bit of high school at risk, high school students.
Serious patience.
Dude, you know what though, man? Those kids are much easier to teach than, in my opinion, than the older kids.
Really?
They have that little bit of fear and respect aspect is still maintained there. And they kind of they look at you still you're important, like a hero almost.
Well, and if you look like you do now, I mean, yeah, that's intimidating.
So
high school kids are probably
who gives a
ego.
Shit? Yeah. Who gives a shit? Yeah. So, was in the education field 10 years. Like I said, just kind of taught. I moved around a little bit, really loved. Fifth grade was where I spent most of my time, taught math and social studies. Also coached some high school and junior high sports too as well. So was involved in that. Kind of what, I guess, how did the health and fitness things start picking up then and there? I would say probably before I had my daughter, who's going to be 10 now. I was 24, 23, 24. And that's when I kind of personally noticed, I'm okay, I'm paying it. It doesn't happen overnight, but I was still lifting weights, 3-4 days a week. Again, half-ass kind of washing what, I'm putting in my mouth. But then I'm noticing some things. I'm okay, things are not as tight as they just, you can feel it. You can just feel and not falling off completely, but being aware enough to okay, if kind of address this now and build some habits now and take it a little bit more serious, you're going to save yourself a bunch of freaking time and heartache as the years progress. And I knew it was only going to get busier, being a new dad. I have 3 now. So I kind of just started nerding out a little bit more on all things health and fitness. If I was going to be, now we can scroll for days on our phone and just feed ourselves stuff. This is of course before that. So you're manually searching what you choose to look up on YouTube. You guys remember, we're all the same age.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
37.
37?
32.
32. Yeah. 34. So I'm between us. Yeah. So manually searching things, like that was what I spent my time with. It was just like basically self-educating, anything, diet, workouts, like just the whole 9 yards of what it takes.
So bodybuilding.com forums.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. God, those seem so like, I know it's crazy to even think that existed, but yeah. And then kind of what ended up happening inadvertently was just like, because of me going throughout that process, I would know a thing or two. So then I just kind of became the friend or family member that was like, hey, Josh, like, what do you think of this? And it could be anything and everything. So, mom trying to drop 10 pounds before, like just all that shit. So I kind of became that family member and friend. And I thought to myself, I'm like, man, this is happening more often. I care about talking about it. I'm passionate about it. Maybe I could figure out a way to like monetize this. Like if I'm good at something, can I make money off of doing something like that? So speeding up, I started, again, I'm like, okay, now I got to do the scary ass thing of like putting myself out there, which is freakishly scared. Yeah, scary. And it's just, so I started writing fitness blogs. So on WordPress, got a WordPress, freaking, and this was before you could freaking AI the whole thing. It's my fat thumbs, like own, original content and thoughts. And I hated writing too. I hated writing, but I'm like, there's so many, grammatical errors and shit like that, but who cares? So I wrote some stuff, put it out there, trying to be regular about it. I think I was writing at least like a blog a week. So it had some content built up. Some people were reading it. I don't know how many. But that almost gave me a sense of like, okay, I know what I'm talking about. I know I can write in a way, and word things in a way that help people kind of filter things down. And that kind of developed some confidence for myself. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to take the next step and like fully get like certified, things like that, and create my own program and systems and things like that, and be able to like take on a client. So that ramped up, and I started doing that like while I was teaching. And we can get into the story too about how like I almost quit, threw in the towel. I'll give you this 30-second skinny of that. Was coaching clients while teaching. And it was awesome at first because it's like, holy shit, I have my like first person that actually is exchanging money with me for me to like help them. And like, it just felt like a big deal. And it wasn't, but that quickly died out. And like, man, I was coaching in a way that was like, super primitive, if you will. Texting you what you need to do, like sending an email, like not that those things are not, they're relevant still in coaching, and training people, but like there was no like smart system put in place. It was just very manual. You could only take on so many people. And as soon as that like initial, like, excitement was there, things started kind of dying out. And I'm like where people are just not like, when I first like announced that I'm doing this, I thought people would knock down my door. Like, oh, okay. A few came and it was great. And I was happy for those early wins, but that quickly like died out without like really kind of going all in on it. You guys might know, like if you're kind of 1 foot in 1 foot out, it's just like,
it's hard to get going.
It really is. It really is. So I made the conscious decision one night. I told my wife this. I go, I'm either going to quit doing this, like the coach, trying to build an online coaching business. I'm either going to quit doing this because I just feel like I'm wasting my time. And then when you're wasting your time, it's like, I am like an imposter. Like this is imposter syndrome. And that still never goes away after you guys freaking never. Yeah. But I'm like, ugh, this just feels ick. Just like and just not to mention not being able to like build more for myself and my life and my family. So I told her, I go, you know what? I'm going to go completely all in on this coaching thing with still teaching. But when I say all in, I'm not going to give a damn what people think and say on social media. I'm going to be consistent on social media. I'm going to post. I'm going to put myself out like, and it was, I threw up out on, social media, so to speak, as far as posting 2 to 3 times a day, like just being super, super active. And honestly, like that's when like the momentum kind of changed. And I believe like fate and things like that, like the universe kind of knows. right around that time when I finally went all in, I also believe in luck too. Things started like, I started finally attracting people, starting like people coming in, lots of leads coming in. I'm like, okay, this is freaking cool. Some signups, and then people now, like, they're sticking with me. They're getting results. Then I'm creating testimonials and all of this stuff. Right around that same time when like things were getting hot, I went to our local gym, which is now my gym. And I said, hey, do you care if I put like a flyer up in the gym? Just letting people know about like my services, It's funny, even like I don't even know if like flyers are still a thing, but it's kind of like, there's so many other means. But anyways, like people are coming in there, flyer, they'll see that. She said, yeah, sure. And this is the owner I messaged. And then she messaged me like a week later. She's like, hey, by the way, we're like trying to like silently like sell the gym. We don't want people to know because we don't want members to run. So then it's like, that's what the revenue is like those members there. Do you know anybody? So she didn't consider me. Maybe she did. I don't know. Maybe was that was her way of, yeah. But I definitely didn't consider myself. I was like, I can't, like, I'm a teacher, and I'm just now like started coaching clients where like, I'm happy that I have made an extra, $1,000 this month, so on and so forth. So while that was going on, Shannon, my wife, she urged me, she's like, just message them back and ask them what they want. Like I wasn't even going to message them back. I was going to actively, find someone else to take my job that I have now. Like that was what I was ready to do because of just my, I guess, limiting beliefs. So she's like, just message her what she wants back. She shouted a number that wasn't like what I had in my head. And I'm like,
smaller or bigger?
Smaller number. Like that, just like, and then I like kind of what it included and like what that business even looks like. So then it was just like, well, we could do that. Like would it be like at first, like hard and still a risk? Yeah. But like, it was not something that was like completely out of the ballpark and realm of possibility. So we kind of
bankrupt you.
Right. Exactly. So we were like, let's do it. Let's do it. So at that point, like, we're pursuing the gym. So that was like in February. And then we closed on the business, 2 months later.
Wow.
So closed March 31st, was in there the next day, April 1st, painting. I was painting. I'm like, we got to get rid of these just all solid white walls. We need some color, different color in here. Yeah. So that was and then now here we are a few years later, like,
so what year is that?
So that was 2023.
Cool.
2023. So a lot has changed in
then
3 years.
When you bought the gym, is that when you quit teaching?
Yeah. So bought the gym. This is how fast it was. Just like quick decisions and being decisive. Coaching started taking on. And fortunately, when I bought the gym too, going throughout that process, coaching was like steadily climbing to where it made it not scary to like, it made it less scary, if you will, to say, all right, we're going to probably not teach next year. And it wasn't that I like teaching, enjoyed it. I was never someone that walked in and like, fuck, here I am dealing with it. And I never walked out. Oh, hell, I can't stand my job. Never like that. It was a healthy relationship with my feelings of that. But it was to the point where like my watch would be going off and I'm like sitting here trying to like teach kids how to add and subtract, mixed numbers, fractions. And it's like, Jill needs something like,
Jill needs to know what she should eat, how many macros she should have for lunch.
All right, kids, we're going to learn how to count macros.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on a second.
Every gram of fat has 9 calories.
Yes, exactly. So it was like, that was, it just became a very clear, and that was happening more often. It became very clear that I want to spend my day doing that more than I am scared about like leaving that position and leaving my retirement and all of that stuff. Because that was where my passion was at, like truly. So it made it easy. So I had to make the decision, like by that, I think June 1st was either A, continue to teach another year to kind of like see how things go. Like it's maybe coaching could die off, or like the gym wasn't what you thought it was. Like don't leave your teaching position you've been at. So I could either A, do that, but then I would be essentially be doing 3 full-time things, because the teaching for one is full-time. Online coaching is full-time. At that point, like it kind of felt like it. And then just managing the gym and not being I owned it, 2 months before I'm having to make this decision. So June 1st sent my resignation letter in, and it was scary in hell, but it's worked out. Cut yourself loose, it's like, all right, you have no choice now.
You got to take the leap, man.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned something too about believing in luck. Do you believe that the hard work you put in creates the luck, or is it just luck in general?
I think a little bit of both is maybe fair to say. I think hard work creates the opportunity, and just with meeting people and putting yourself out there. I mean, you never know, like I could be meeting you guys right now, and like, what if, 5 months down the road, like something happens or whatever. And it's like some opportunity comes, and like, I think Josh might be a good like person to talk to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
You just never know. So I think through putting yourself out there, hard work, I think that creates opportunity, which could be maybe called luck. Sometimes things are just like, are freakishly weird though, about when you do like, I don't know, like me approaching the gym owner, like, what if someone else like messaged to do that? And like, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So sometimes there's that divine intervention, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which that timing was crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
you send it, and a week later, they're like, "Hey, actually, we're selling this place. You want to buy it?" Well,
Yeah.
I didn't say that, but kind of.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I've always been of the mind, the harder you work, the luckier you are.
Yeah.
The harder you put in opportunity, like you said, creates opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourself in situations to be presented those things.
Yeah, luck is when opportunity meets preparation, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's true. It really is. If you're constantly in that negative mindset where it's just like, why me, or why do they have all these opportunities and I don't, and I don't think it's that they do. I think it's their perspective and outlook, and versus someone that's pouting on the couch all night long and not doing anything about their situation. I mean, that's when you think you're like, I don't have opportunities.
Yeah.
And another question on the teaching side comparing the two, what do you think's more impactful? You getting a kid that's coming in 5th grade that may not enjoy school and all that, making school more entertaining for them and wanting to create that learning opportunity, or getting a client that has kind of just let life pass them by, and now you're changing their lives in a way that can help them live better?
That's a freaking tough question. Yeah, because it's like the difference of catching them like early on, versus like fixing a trajectory later on, which could be course corrected too. Man, what does make me feel like not bad, but it makes me, I do wonder about this thought, is that I feel like, and this is just the truth. One, there's not enough men in education in general, and in the early ages.
I can think back. There wasn't a single male teacher that I had until I got to high school or middle school.
Right.
Middle school.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So that sort of haunts me, and that's why I liked the age range. I liked the grade levels I went into, because there was no people like a few, but in my building.
What school district were you in?
Hillsborough.
Okay.
Hillsborough in Jefferson County. From the grades of kindergarten through 6th grade might be like 4 or 5 men across all of those, you know what I mean?
Schools,
so just, it's not there. It's not there. So one, I'm like, I know these kids at that age need that. You're a father.
Mm-hmm.
You guys both are.
Yeah. Both dads.
Right. Same. So it's like, that's another thing. I feel like inadequate like parenting that I see teachers see. I'm going to say teachers see, is just parenting is not what it is or should be. I feel like just there's a lot of slack that's cut, and I don't know. So it worries me sometimes of the youth, just because of the support and just kind of the grit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I knew that I was providing that for students and trying to be that role model, so to speak. So knowing that that's not there, are there other people that are out there doing it? Absolutely. yes, but not enough. So that makes me think, and it's like, sometimes you do meet that one teacher or one adult in your life when you're young that made all the difference in the world. I just made a post, a couple weeks ago. I tagged my 5th grade teacher in it. I was basically just talking about the fact that this was the first damn chapter book I ever read. And I was 5th grade. I hated reading. I shouldn't say I hated reading. I didn't read things that interested me. So I was like, flip a page. I'm like, what did I read for one? I read through a whole chapter and don't even know what I read. 2, I'd be checking out a new book the next day because I didn't enjoy that one. Anyways, like, I read that book. Holes was the book, and I was like, I felt I'm like, man, that was a badass book. And like, I read the whole thing. Like, I can't believe I did that, And when did that take place? 5th grade in Mrs. Muzzy's class, and she was a great teacher. So it's like that was like a monumental moment as far as like, just to me, about like being able to overcome things that you kind of like your own limitations. So those moments are special for teachers that they build. But that, as far as the adult, it's like a high almost when you do help another adult, a mom, a dad, a busy professional. And they just, I always use that term with them because I think they get it. My adult clients is changing your trajectory. I like thinking of it that way. And that's what a lot of these guys are doing. They're, the path that they were continuing on may not lead to a high quality life for whatever reason, maybe their lifespan is long, but their health span is shit. What they do now, it's cool just knowing all the different things that are improved for them, that it's inevitable that is going to at least provide you a much better fair fighting chance to have a better overall quality of life. And that feels good. People are becoming better business owners, better parents, better spouses or partners, better friends, just across the board. And that's cool. Cause then that trickles down into all the other areas of their life and the people that they care about. So it's kind of like affecting more than just that person. It's maybe affecting their whole dynamic, work, family, whatever it might be.
Wow.
So,
and it's not an immediate thing. Obviously, it takes a lot of time but in the grand scheme of things of a life, compared to like getting a 5th grader, I mean, how long did it take you to reach out to your 5th grade teacher? Whereas like your clients now, they're probably getting more praise from your clients that are older, more quicker than
correct,
or more quickly than
teaching would be a thankless position for the entire time. Unless, you do get that teacher that reaches back out, and which is always awesome for teachers to get that. So yeah, that's more thankless, and you don't really know the impact you had
until later in life.
Adults, it's like pretty immediate in the sense of like,
inside I feel great today.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, I haven't felt this good since I was, whatever.
I woke up without any pain.
Right. And sometimes that's a week later from like just them being on a better, road or journey. Like their mindset's better. So then they're already like, yeah, it can be as early as a week. I'm so glad I signed up. This has been badass. Thank you so much. Like it's quick. That was a good question.
Yeah, that's good. You said something there I kind of want to go back to. What's the difference between health span and lifespan?
Yeah. So lifespan is the actual, I guess, linear, amount of time you have on the planet. So, the average lifespan, what is it? Like 77, 78, something like that for a guy. Women are a little bit longer. So that would be lifespan. You can live a very long lifespan for whatever, maybe, genetics are there, the real process is it has to do with chromosomes and telomeres capping off and not being able to replicate and all of that stuff. But, you could live a long lifespan, but your health span is, not very good. So this is a person, maybe they're, we see them, people go into a nursing home early on and they're just hanging on to life for the next 25 years in the nursing home. And they've been in a wheelchair for 15 of the 25. They've been unable to, bathe, take care of themselves, maybe 15 of the 25. Their health span is not what it should be. So their lifespan could still be pretty long, but their quality of life is poor. So you want the 2 and 2 more in sync. Yeah. You know, I don't know about you guys. I always ask people this, like, are you interested in like longevity or just living longer? To me, I'm like, hell yeah. Like I can nerd out into like almost futuristic like stuff of like extending human life. I really think I think you guys, us sitting here, have the possibility of living very, very late, like 130, 140, 150.
Really?
Possibly. Yes.
I mean, we just don't know because there's so many things that we do now that we're so much more aware of than people were 50 years ago.
Correct.
You know, like you look at, like I think about guys that I train jiu-jitsu with all the time that are in their like 40s and 50s that are just in incredible shape. And I'm like, 50 years ago, a 50-year-old was like practically like he was an old man.
Go back and look at some of those old TV shows, like the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Those women were in their 50s and like early 60s.
That's
crazy.
And I'm looking at my mom who turns 75 on Sunday, and she looks younger than those ladies.
That's great, yeah.
She does. She works out. She takes care of herself.
Yeah.
But, and then I look at my dad, and my dad's not unhealthy, but, I mean, he's had a hard life, hip surgeries, heart surgeries, all these things. And, he's 73 and he looks, in my mind, he looks 73.
Well, there can be very easily a 30-year gap between someone that's the same age. Like, for example, someone that's, let's say, person A, person B, they're both 45 years old. One of them, because of their lifestyle choices and the things that how they take care of themselves, they can be 45, but look and act more like a 30-year-old. Physically, what you're looking at, like just their attitude and zest for life. So they're more looking and biologically acting the whole deal 30. Whereas you guys know, if you ran people you've graduated with, and sometimes you're just like, okay, am I the one that looks older, or is it you? Like it's like, holy shit, dude, you look like you're 20 years older than me right now. So you can be 45 and look and act and feel 60. Well, that's a 30-year gap. One person is like, on the 30-ish side, and the other person is 60 as far as, and some of that can even be measured, as far as their metabolic age. And then of course, visual appearance and things like that. Some of it's genetic too. Some of us are going to go gray and lose hair. Like for what we could take care of ourselves, like that's inevitable. But as far as managing body composition and just overall, different health markers that we can measure, there's absolutely a huge gap that we're seeing. So the whole health span and lifespan, it's like, okay, if I have no interest in living to 140 and I'm on a ventilator just for the sake of like, it's saying I'm alive. It would be really cool to live to, 120, 130. And I feel more like a very youthful 80-year-old that is going to the park and still playing pickleball and doing all of these things, and they can drive themselves and all. Like that would be some,
gold,
futuristic shit right there. It's like this dude's 120. He does not look 100. Like, can you imagine?
Well, there's just so many things out there now that, that weren't, just how popular, testosterone replacement therapy is.
Oh my God.
It's so prevalent. We're both on it.
Yeah.
I think it's really changed like the trajectory. It's just helping people stay youthful longer.
Would you rather, on that topic, it's like, would you rather have your testosterone levels of a normal high like person or a normal low? Because there's a huge gap there between those numbers. And
I'll tell you what, when I went in and got tested, they're like, when I first started it, they're like, you have the testosterone level of an 80-year-old man. I was at like 190.
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very low. And so I was like, well, I'm 36. This was when I started. I'm like, I don't want to feel like that. Or I was even 35 at the time. I was like, I don't want to feel like an 80-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to have my energy back. I want to have all that stuff back, and got on it. And it's been amazing.
If you're able to, because of that intervention, you're able to retain muscle mass
for sure.
throughout the aging process, which, they say starting at 30 is when, testosterone can naturally drop, which then, that's going to cause muscle loss if you're not providing that stimulus. So you're delaying or preventing that entirely. Probably not even, you're putting yourself in the opposite. You're able to build more healthy, dense, lean muscle that's tied to metabolic health. The drive and motivation that can come with that, which is going to talk about opportunities that mindset's going to lead you in a different direction. So again, it's another trajectory.
Well, it's
changer.
amazing because I did a progress thing from in January of 24, which is when I first went and got tested. And that's when I was at 190. And that's when I started with my nutritionist. And then I did a progress pick in December of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And just just the difference in muscle mass.
Yeah.
Like you can just see it.
Yeah.
And I think I've lost just in that time frame. I think I've dropped close to 10% in body fat over that period of time.
Yeah.
And my muscle mass has gone up by about 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
yeah, and that's the thing is I look back and I went even further back to look at this, and I should have done this like from when I was playing baseball. When I was playing baseball, I was 215, 220 with about 15% body fat. That was like, for me, that was when I felt my best.
Yeah.
Playing wise, because I had a little bit of fat on there to protect the muscles and the wear and tear that you go through being a pitcher on your shoulders and your legs and all that. You need a little bit of fat to protect your muscles.
Yeah.
And so for the longevity of a season. And I went back and looked at those pictures, and I wasn't even nearly as muscular looking back then as I was in that picture in December. And and here I am, 50 pounds heavier, about the same amount of body fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And my energy levels feel amazing. So
yeah.
I mean, everything got better when I got on it.
Yeah.
I mean, just
makes
drive, libido. I mean, everything.
Yeah. It makes it easier to manage your body composition too. Like it's
recovery.
Recovery.
Gosh.
Yeah. It was huge.
Oh yeah.
I just noticed that for sure. Like, I mean, just my ability to want to train just consistently. I feel like I just noticed a big change in that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Well, in your questionnaire, you emphasize systems over motivation. What does a good system do psychologically that motivation never can?
Motivation is like, it's constantly, it needs fuel like all the time. You know what I mean? And it's not, let's be honest, it's there very short-lived and infrequent. And it's not a good fuel source to like get you anywhere really. Now it can be like a damn drug when it's high and you're like, it's intoxicating at that point. We've all had those moments where it's just like, I don't know, maybe you're in the gym or whatever, or a song or something, or a quote, or like this passage, or we listen to a podcast and it's like, I can run through a brick wall right now, or I can conquer whatever I want right now. That is motivation because it's fleeting, but it's generating feelings from like a stimulus you saw, which I think that in healthy, like we still need all of that. And it's great. And it's great to use that. I posted something with my clients yesterday in our community group. I can't remember exactly how I worded it. I said, this is not a motivational post. And I just kind of went into like this kind of mindset of just systems and doing things. So we understand kind of what motivation is and what that feels like and looks like. And it's different for everybody. Having a system is like having a structured like plan that you follow, like no matter what. Like, so it takes away the decision fatigue to one extent, but it gives you a roadmap with knowing what you're going to do despite how you like feel in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then there's fallbacks and there's checkpoints of it. And you can follow that. If you can commit to turning that part off in your brain where it's like, I'm going to follow this game plan, no matter if it's a great day where it's like the best version of Josh, where you feel great and like the brick wall, all of that, or where it's just a dark cloud is over my head for like no reason. So sometimes there's legitimately I wake up like this where there's no reason I'm in a bad mood or sad, or it's just like I am, You know what I'm saying? So having a structure and a system is key for those moments, because I firmly believe that those mundane, irrelevant moments in life where you just feel like just life is lifing, those are way more, those occur way more often than the good moments. So you gotta have something put in place.
Gotta have that discipline.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I heard this recently, and it just kind of what you're saying made me think of it. But you know, this guy was talking about 3 different kinds of fuel. You know, we've got motivation, discipline, and obsession. You know, motivation is I want to do this. Discipline is I will make myself do this. And obsession is I can't not do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's like a really good kind of way to frame it. And because like there's plenty of times where like, yeah, you hear that great song and you want to go, you know, I'm fucking, you start running faster, or you lift heavier, or whatever it is. But then there's, you know, the times where you don't want to go to the gym, but that's like that discipline thing. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, there's things that you want to do like all the time. Like for me, like I could train jujitsu every day. Like I love, like I can't not do it.
Yeah.
Like, but there's plenty of times where, you know, in other aspects that I have to like make myself, I know like, okay, I got to sit here and make these phone calls. I don't necessarily want to do it, but I'm going to make myself do it. Mm-hmm. You know, that's discipline. And, you know, motivation would just be, you know, like I said, you hear a great song and it just fires you up.
Yeah. I mentioned how like motivation can feel like when it's like really good and like strong. Do you guys, and I actually heard this on a podcast episode the other day. I think it was Rogan and Bert Kirshire that were talking, and they were talking about exercise and shit like that. And I can relate to what they said, and I may not articulate it correctly, but like when you do those things, we'll just use a workout as an example. When it's like, I 100% like don't want to do this, like no bullshit, like this is the last thing I want to do, whatever it is. And you do it and you come out on the other end, that's almost more intoxicating than motivation. Like is like that I put myself through willing pain and discomfort and not wanting to do it. I am almost like, and now I'm like, and you guys probably are too, where like, you know, to expect that you're going to get, so the feeling comes where it's like, this feels like shit, don't want to do this, but I will be rewarded on the other end. Cause I am looking forward to that high of doing that.
Absolutely.
It's almost like, and I almost think that those days that I don't want to train, I always have like the best workouts. Like I feel, you know, like I felt good in the gym today. Maybe I hit a PR, or I had a great round with somebody I don't normally do well against or something. You know, I feel like those happen on the days that I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like the reward for me.
Well, I had that recently too, when I got my stripe. That Saturday, I did not want to go to class. I woke up, my body was killing me. I was hurting, and I was exhausted, and I was just like, I'm not going to go. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I told myself that I was going to go at least twice a week. This was going to be, and I held off going yesterday because I knew I was going to go today, and it's going to be a longer roll. Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I had a great roll that we were rolling. It was a great day. And then at the end of it, I got my first stripe. I was like, all right. And that was awesome. I was so pumped.
What is a stripe?
It's just leveling up.
It's like,
okay,
pieces of tape on the belt over there
for jujitsu, right?
Yeah.
Did you get him into jujitsu?
Yeah. Well, nice. Yeah. I mean, we started the podcast, and you know, obviously, I talk about it constantly. So.
What better way to learn it than do it?
Yeah.
So, if I wanted to join in on the conversation,
know what we were talking about half the time. I guess I got to do this. Yeah. Well, that's what he was saying the other day. We had one of my coaches. He was, it'll be the episode that comes out Friday. He, he was on like right when we first started the podcast, and Pat really wasn't training yet. And now, like, you know, almost 2 years later, we have him. He's like, hey, man, I know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Join in the conversation.
Yeah, I know. I followed along there. Okay.
That feels good when you get to that. We're like, okay, I don't feel like such a dumbass listening to this conversation. We all have those things. So we can't be good at everything.
I can't be good at everything, man.
Yeah, listening and knowing what they're saying is one thing. Actually being able to do what they say is a completely different thing. I still look like a dumbass doing what we're talking about, but at least I know what it is.
You don't have to do like the agreeable like nod when in having no clue. It's like
totally.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
It was good times.
Well, you've worked with almost 2,000 people. What is a pattern, regardless of age, gender, background, that you commonly see people stuck with?
Yeah. So I think I see a couple things. I see people having trouble, one, just getting started. That can be universal with anything. Um, but my thing, and I tell this to people that I'm following up with, that I guess we'll call them in business leads that we're following up with, that, they can't pull the trigger for whatever objection it is. I have seen a lot of people have trouble. They think that they have to have this drastic walkout to like Madison Square Garden of like beginning their journey, whatever they want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, well, shit, I gotta the pantry. I gotta get rid of all that shit. But first, before I get rid of that shit, I gotta eat the stuff and like,
I don't want to waste it.
Right. And then I gotta get a gym membership, and then I don't have shoes. Like, they start like telling themselves all these reasons, and they psych themselves out, and because they're psyched out, it's too overwhelming. It's too daunting. So I'll start later on. Or that's one thing I see. Another thing I see with people is they truly do think it needs to be way too complicated as far as all of the things you need to do to get ready to wear a swimsuit in the summer and not feel like dog shit and second guess yourself, or to finally actually start seeing any sort of progress or results on the scale or whatever. I always tell people, I'm like, instead of the 10, 15, 20 different things you think you have to do, can we worry about like two or three of them, two or three things, and then also pointing them in the direction of what those two or three things are that like matter the most. So for example, we mentioned like calories and macros and all this shit. And then people think that they need to get to the gym and work out. I'm like, okay, can we do this? Can we be clever and think of a way to manage, I'm going to say it again, manage the fork and the spoon, to trick yourself to consume less than you are now, to create this so-called, calorie deficit. Can we figure out a way to do that without it being a pain in the butt, without you having to count or track all of that? Does that sound good? And they'll answer, well, yeah, because that's something different that I haven't done. Okay, you can do that. The second thing is you just told me that your step count on average is 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day, and you're not going to the gym or lifting weights or anything. Let's take away the gym and lifting. I want you to lift weights, but let's not worry about it month one. Maybe even the first 8 weeks. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to stress over that. Instead, let's just get your step count from 3,000 to 4,000 to like 8,000, 9,000. Like let's double that. And let's on average, like do that on a daily basis. I guarantee it, in conjunction of just getting your body moving more and managing the fork and spoon, which we have other like metrics to do that. You're going to start dropping pounds. You're going to start feeling better. Confidence is going to be there. Holy shit, I'm looking different in the mirror. Like my pants are fitting different. Now I'm more motivated, and I know I can follow a system that works. Now I actually feel confident. And that's when they're reaching out and be like, Josh, can you tell, like, okay, I think I want to go to the gym, and like lifting weights is interesting me, now, and I think I can do it. They think that they can do it because they finally have got some runway on the track to be able to do that. So I think simplicity has always been a very big thing in our messaging, in our brand, and less is more. And being, I know I hate the word because people use it all the time, is just, again, what does consistency actually look like for you? The teacher in me, this is a part of the coaching in there, I throw in, I'm like, a lot of people get like, really good. They nail Monday, they nail Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they nailed it. They nailed like half a day on Friday. And the weekend falls apart. Or it's not even the weekend. Maybe the weekends they're busy working, but it's their weekdays their weekends look spaced out sometimes. So you're getting 4 out of 7-ish days like where you're rocking it. The other 3 you're off. Well, that's like a 57% F. That's not. So how can we tighten up another couple of those days? Give yourself some moments. We're members here. I love to have fun. You can still do that. You can still play, if you will, But you got to have those other moments outside of where people see you play, like that person's on their A game with that. So kind of teaching people what that looks like for them.
I can attest to that. I mean, just at the last year, I mean, shoot, after I took that progress prick, it was beginning of December, and then all December was nothing but holiday parties. And I'm like, you know what? I worked really hard to get to where I'm at. I'm going to enjoy December. And I went to these holiday parties. I drank a little bit more than I probably should have. I ate a little bit more than I should have. And then once January 1st hit, it was like, all right, parties and all that shit are over with. Back to it. And literally since January 1st to where we're at now, I've knocked off the 10 pounds that I gained in the 1 month. Just back to my macros and back to walking every day. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to the gym. I've still gone to the gym still.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's just because I got back to my steps, got back to my eating, that it's just.
Those are the two levers right there for
easiest,
you. Yeah.
Easiest.
Yeah. And here's another big thing too, is that what looks right for me and the things that I follow does not mean that that's what you need to follow to see success too.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. So I'll have, some of these clients coming in initially and they're comparing, like thinking that they need to do X, Y, Z because, Jill, who looks rocking, right? Like that's what she does. So that's what I need to do. No, not the
Especially
same
with
story.
social media, man. And everybody posts their workout and their what they're eating and like, check out this recipe. I mean, it's like,
I know you want to say it. Say it.
What?
Your thing, comparison.
Oh yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just, there's so much out there that you can just distract yourself from.
I like lifting weights. I like lifting heavy and this and that. I've actually caught myself like posting. I used to post a lot of that like content. I post less of that content now because I'm almost scared to death of like people that maybe have been following me and they're on the fence. Like, shit, is he gonna like? Is that what I'm gonna have to do?
Well, Josh is inclining 225. Let me try.
Right. So I'm just like, I'll throw that stuff out there just every now and then, but like that's in the back of my head because I don't want people to believe like that's what you need to do. So that's tough.
And almost just post videos of you taking a walk, like on your walk.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, I go, you see what I'm doing right now? Like this is first 8 weeks. If this is what you want to do for exercise, we can absolutely make it happen, and we'll get you going. Yeah.
Well, you've coached a lot of women specifically in their 30s, 40s, 50s. What do you think men do not understand about that stage of life and health for women?
I think women have more emotional ties to like it's so much easier for women to see value, in my opinion, of taking care of themselves and like getting back on, I don't know if it's because of how they're hardwired that, more emotionally tied to like, I feel like they just could care more about their physical appearance.
I think society puts a little bit more pressure on them than they do.
Correct. Men, they have many different ideas of what success could look like. So a lot of guys, if they get the finances in control and they have the material items, they have the car, like, have whatever, like a good job, career, like those things are bringing them a sense of fulfillment. So if they have, a big gut hanging over, or, they become okay with it almost. And I shouldn't be speaking for them, but they have enough success to where they're just like,
I don't need it.
I make more money than you. So like, I don't give a shit that I look like this.
Have you seen what I drive out there? Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I see that. I think that's fair to say. But still there's a deal where it's like time, if they are running a business or they are in an important role where it's just, they can't possibly see themselves having the minutes in the day to do it. I think that's a reason for them. But they absolutely, what I try to stress to them, I'm like, I know you feel like by you like worrying about this part of your life and like this successful part of your life that we want to work out is going to like detract or take from everything else. And at first it might, do that as far as like on paper, like the time and this and that. But for a fact, it is going to be transactional across the board in so many different avenues of your life.
Yeah, you can look at all these top producing CEOs and things like that. Like, I mean, look at what like Mark Zuckerberg, what he went from, like the transition he went through, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
All of these guys have gone through this transition where they were, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, when you go back and look at those early pictures, they were just frail.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, Zuck is doing jujitsu, working out, training. Isn't Bezos doing the same thing? I think.
I don't know. I know Bezos got on the TRT, got on the sauce for sure.
Yes.
But that's the thing is they all.
Zuck probably is too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've made these changes to their and I mean, look what like I don't know. For me, I always say this, and it's not so much. Sure, there's a physical byproduct of working out and training.
Yeah.
But I work out more for the mental side of it. My mental strength and health is so much better when I'm working out and training consistently than when I'm not.
The day is off if you didn't get in some sort of movement.
Yeah.
I feel antsy. Like me and my partner, we meet. I'm like, dude, I gotta get in at least a big long walk. When I say long, 2-3 miles, like before we sit down for 2 hours and meet. Like I don't know. It feels
you gotta do something, man.
Yeah. The last thing I'll mention too with men in general, I think a lot of them think like that fulfills them, the career, the business, all of that. Like, I think it gets them so far and like they can sustain that like mental, like I guess level of happiness and feeling useful. But I think like when you see some of these high level guys, eventually that becomes not enough for them, like the money and all of that stuff. So they're like, I got to find a sense of like purpose and this and that's why you see a lot of them get in good shape kind of later into their years, because that's the one thing that they've neglected. It's like, that's my next hill, so.
Well, it's easy to control. Like you're controlling that. Like you are putting in, like I said, it's easy. You can, like for work, like, yeah, you can put in your effort for work. You can't really control the outputs, but like you get to the gym, you can control your effort and everything that you're giving there. And for me, like that's one of the, like I said, it's one of those aspects that I have control over when there's a lot of things in my job that I don't have control over.
Right.
So
for sure.
Well, you've believed strongly in health and discipline for a long time, but is there something that you have completely like changed your mind about from when you started and you got into this?
Yeah. When I first got into this, I think I was one of those people. Here's an example. I was taking cold showers 10 years ago before like cold plunging was even like a thing. And I would swear by it. And I still believe in cold plunging. That's not where I'm going with this. But at first I would say that I could be someone that would focus more on those, not the majors, the minor type things.
The auxiliaries.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And I'm like, I knew the important levers and I would still keep those there, but I would put so much like weight onto some of these more minor things like the cold shower. I'm like, this is, I'd take one before I worked out, which I think is the opposite of like what you should be doing now. I don't, there's tons of different, advice that's conflicting of each other. It's neither here nor there, but I would take it before because it would wake me up. It was 3:30 in the morning. It would wake me up. I'd feel like that was the best shot of, anything, the good stuff that you could take next to pre-workout, like way better than that. So I would take a cold shower and I would swear by it. And then you'd have the, it taps into burning brown fats. And then I'd have that psychologically going on. When in reality, it's like all that stuff are things that could give you maybe a 1% edge, which do matter and add up. But my perspective now is kind of stemming back what I've talked about earlier, really just like, let me pick up the 90% of my salary and like maintain that first. When I say salary, like what's really counts, versus those minor things. Cause I have a lot of people reach out to me, one asking about those things, or two new clients that are onboarding and stuff like that. Early on questions are about supplementation or incorporating, hey, I heard this was like, and just kind of really directing them like, hey, let's nail these things first and then layer in the rest of that later on, which we do in our coaching. So kind of answered your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, talking about, I know we've talked about your business. How How do you go about handling all your things and still maintaining your responsibilities as a father and a husband?
Yeah. I know we talked about like we're all going to drop the ball on some things. It's inevitable. Like you can't like be completely here and then completely there. One of the biggest things, do you guys catch this with like being a dad where you're in your moment with your kids or your family and sometimes we want to be as present as possible in that, like, but then man, it's when you're driven and you're like and you're thinking about this deal or that, like, or this situation or opportunity, it's hard to like not to put those things to the side, like when you're with your family. Like I'm playing with my son on the floor or coaching my daughter. Like coach my daughter. I'd coach wrestling with my daughter on Tuesdays and Thursdays, circle in the room. Why is like random business shit popping in my head right when I'm trying to show a double leg or correct a move, So like, that's tough for me. I try, and I'm stemming off of or deviating away from the question. I guess what does help is the flexibility in my job or career. I do get to be the one that can go to the class parties and all that stuff, or like stay home. Like if one of them isn't feeling like, that's fun. And I like being able to do that. For example, tomorrow there's like Shannon, my wife, has a teacher work day. So I'll have all three of them and like I think we're going to go do something fun. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to go do something fun. That's really cool. But it's still tough. It's tough to like draw the line in the sand. One of the things I've been doing lately, I've been trying to turn my phone not only on do not disturb. We talked about that before this podcast episode, but putting it in like a different room or location, like at a certain time in the evening. That helps. Easier said than done some nights, but it does help.
I mean, I think we both struggle with that, with everything you just said, especially with how business can kind of pull us away when we're trying to be present with our family. And that's exactly what you just said. Something I've been doing lately is like, all right, well, 5:00 hits, I go and plug my phone in the kitchen, and it's like, I'm not going to really, unless it's like ringing multiple times, I'm not going to go look at it for, for the next, at least until the kids go to bed around 8.
Do you guys have a tough time? Like, because if you were to look at like your task and like the things that are like important today, tomorrow, whatever, I'm sure there's going to be several different damn things you could do, 10 to 20 plus different things. It's sometimes hard for me, like looking at all of that. Okay, like what moves the needle the most today, but also like what do I need to pay attention to that's going to move the needle in the future? And then what do I also need to pay attention to, because maybe it's not moving the needle, but it's like it's a needed component of like this time of year, starting to look at like taxes and stupid shit like that. It's like it's be easy for me to like keep putting that off my accountant, but like because I want to focus on maybe it's money now task or business now task. I have trouble with that. You guys,
I time block the shit out of my calendar, so like every day is a different theme day. But talking about what matters is one of the things I started doing. I've journaled in the past, but I've really gotten back into it. I do it every morning.
Yeah.
And I revamped my morning routine, just so I could get back into the steps and the reading and all of those things. And every morning now I journal. And the first question that I ask myself is what matters most today. Mm-hmm. And then I'll write for me, it's kind of my why. It's like, what matters most today? Making sure I'm leading a life that my kids are going to be proud of if they were to look back and say, wow, I could see my life. Like, I'm proud of my dad for like, that's my first and foremost. And then it's like, all right, for work. And then like, for me, I being divorced and having my kids every couple days, I can structure my schedule to when I don't have them.
Yeah.
I can work really late. Like I'll take appointments all the way up until 8, 9 o'clock at night on the nights that I don't have my kids.
Yeah.
So that way, when I do have them, I can shut that down. But every day has a different theme. So like Monday is prospecting with agents. That's looking for future business. Mm-hmm. So I spend that day, like my task for that day. What's the most important thing? That I'm calling at least 5 to 10 agents today. Mm-hmm. Tuesday, what's the most important thing? Those are my Tuesday update calls to my current clients that are under contract and the agents that are on part of those deals.
Yeah.
So that's current business. Future Wednesdays, that'll be past client touches for like, hey, your first payment's coming due. Hey, or the anniversary or birthdays or things like that. Past clients, that's also can kind of client retention as well as help for future business. Thursdays and Fridays are spent for clients that are currently pre-approved or pre-qualified, to either get them from pre-qualified to pre-approved, and then if they're pre-approved, seeing if they're looking for houses.
Yeah.
And then I can get them numbers. So every day is structured differently for me, and I keep it the same. So that way I like, oh, hey, someone's like, oh, what day is it? I'm like, oh, today's Tuesday, because I got Tuesday update calls. I know that I'm going to be calling about 30 to 40 people today to give them updates on this, as well as touch base with my team and have those conversations with my team, see how things are going. So for me, it's
so
just
like a day-to-day. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess you could do it like blocks in a day where it's like micro points
yeah.
of that. That's kind of like how mine.
That's kind of how I do it too.
Yeah.
Like I try to get some sort of prospecting or lead generation in every day, and I kind of fill that into my schedule, you know, and it's definitely at different times every single day, because I've just, depending on what days of the week, I've got different things going on, and I have some things that are consistent on the calendar, and then I have other things that are not always there. And so you just gotta I just make it fit. But but being consistent on it, I think is a huge piece of it.
For sure.
You gotta, for example, what's a task that you would like, fuck, I am not looking forward to this. Like, and it could be anything. It's like, you still have to do that, because like future self is going to thank you that you took the time to do
cold calling agents.
Just some of this stuff is, yep. I totally, oh my gosh.
Dealing with cold leads is, it's a lot of hang-ups, a lot of fucking don't call me, you know.
You got to pay attention to the number, because like, okay, this is fruitful for at least this person, and it matters.
Yeah, for every 50 that I dial, you know, I get, two
That's how you got to think of it.
You know,
instead, it's like
hit my number, you know, eventually you just get so comfortable with hearing no, and you know, it's like, it doesn't hurt your feelings anymore after
emotionally detached.
Yeah, you're very emotionally detached from it, for sure.
Yeah.
I will say I did one thing today that I was actually like, old me would be a little bit upset about, but I was actually like, wow, you know, you guys were talking about your phones.
Yeah.
I left my house today without my phone.
Oh. Yeah. You don't have it right now?
No, I have. I went back and got it. I need it for work, but like,
I was gonna say,
part of my morning routine has been like, hey, because it's my alarm, but I won't look at my phone until I've completed my entire morning routine.
I've started doing that with workouts and stuff.
And so, so like, you know, I get up early, you know, make the bed, brush my teeth, and then we'll immediately go get my steps in. Go walk down to the gym, hit the treadmill, get the steps in. Kids are still sleeping, come back, wake them up, get them moving, do my reading, journaling while they're getting moving, make them breakfast. And then the whole time my phone is just sitting there.
Yeah.
And we're rushing out. We're getting out of the house, you know, like normal, like before we'd have been rushing out of the house so I could drop them off at Melissa's by 8:15, but like we got there, like I even had time to go get them coffee and drop.
You're just more efficient, just because you're not picking
exactly. And so we're walking out the door, and it wasn't even until we got to Melissa's house that I realized, because the music wasn't. My kids were asking me to play music, I went to go grab my phone. I'm like, oh,
left it plugged in.
It's not even. It's not even connected to my car right now, so it's at home. So
nice.
that never would have happened.
We need that.
Everyone needs that. I've been doing that too. That's like ever since I've been really dialed in on my morning routine since January 1st. Getting back onto it, and that was the one thing. I do the same thing until I complete all my little tasks that I do every morning. I open my phone to like the only thing that I'll ever look for is I've been journaling as well as I have like a list of journal prompts, and I'll just kind of pick one, and that'll be like the only thing I really look at. Because man, I'm in, and I've done it a handful of times now where I'll pick my phone up to look at to find a prompt. And also, like, I just automatically, like, out of habit, you just like go to social media.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just click on Instagram. Out of habit, I'm like, whoa, what am I doing? Like, you have to catch myself, and it's like it's crazy how like what a habit and like how ingrained it is. Like, I don't even think that like, oh, I'm gonna go to Instagram. I just naturally like just like the next thing my finger hit. I'm like, I didn't even like think to do that. I just naturally did it. It's kind of scary.
It kind of makes me want to go back to a flip phone. You know,
I know.
Just go get a fucking burner phone from
these things
Walgreens,
got us gripped too hard.
They got us.
They're just so good.
But how much has it, on a positive note? It's helped us so much too. You just gotta like not let it control us. Yeah. You know, it's like constant. You just got to be constantly aware of it, because it can get away so quick.
100%.
You can open up Instagram. You can lose 10 minutes easily. And how many times can you do that in a day? A shitload. And you look at it, and you go back and look at your screen time. You're like, shit, like 4 hours today? Like, what the fuck?
I know.
You know, you're like 4. That's a sixth of my day I spent on my phone.
Yeah.
You know,
I could have watched the Titanic movie and then some.
Yes, exactly. Like, what? It's wild.
Yeah.
The problem is too is because like with the social media and having to post on social media, like it's not so much that I'm sitting there consuming the content as is like, because him and I have I mean, if you look at our messages, it's nothing but reels back and forth with ideas of stuff that we can do. And that's really all I'm looking for now is like, okay, that grabbed my attention. That's something that we should try.
Yeah, we can make something like that.
It's market research.
Yeah. Yes. And
exactly. Next thing you know, it's been an hour and I'm like, son of a, what did I just do?
Yeah. And then you look back.
It sucks because you have to pay attention to some extent, which then still pulls like it's a necessary evil.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
For sure.
Well, Josh, one thing that like really surprises me about you is you're a marathon runner. Most people wouldn't expect that by, looking the way that you're built, but you run marathons all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I have one this Saturday.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Is this the one in Arizona?
Yeah. Yeah. We touched base on that about, a while ago. Yeah. So this will be marathon number 10 where I do with a group of buddies, close friends of mine, and we're trying to knock out one in every state. So
that's cool.
It's a good reason to a few different things. One, to kind of travel around and see all of the states and do something hard and badass at the same time. It keeps us connected with my couple of my buddies that we do it with, and holds us accountable. Number 3, it's I guess 3 or 4. I fucking hate running. I really do, and I'm not like saying that like. Let me regress a little bit. I enjoy and tolerate it now, and there's pockets of time where I'm like, this is cool. I do, and I could say I enjoy this, but 75% of the time it's just like, geez,
lacing those shoes up.
Yes.
How do you mentally grind through 26.2 miles?
Like we touched on it. The feeling at the end when you finish, knowing one, I'm like, I shouldn't be out here. Like I shouldn't be like, you don't really see very many like more muscle bound guys out there. There's some, I shouldn't be out here. I'm doing something that, less than 1% of the population does and has done at least this many times. And like, I start running all these like things in my head where it's like, it just feels good. And it is a very powerful, euphoric, just that sense of pain at the end that just like, and I know that sounds like, oh, like you enjoy pain. I don't enjoy pain. I enjoy that sense of accomplishment, and it just feels good. There's many different reasons, I mentioned, I also like, I would be selfish to say that it's like, or to not include, my kids, I want them to like, wow, dad, like they don't care now. Like they could care less, but down the road, I think of the fact I'm like, I would again want them to be like proud of the fact that like, wow, dad, can you believe like if you're talking about in my funeral or whatever, yeah, can you believe dad ran a marathon in every state, 50 marathons. So it's just like just legacy type thing. There's probably 10 micro reasons of why I do it. All together, all of those reasons, it makes it fun. It makes it fun.
So cool. What all states have you hit so far?
So we've done, of course, Missouri was our first one. We've done Missouri, Illinois, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Indiana, Massachusetts, Arkansas. Now we're doing Arizona. I know I'm leaving 1 or 2 out. Kind of spread out.
Spread them out. Like
so, we were first. I started in 2021 with this. So, on average, we've run like 2 a year. We started doing the math. Like I'm 34, so now we're going to try to start knocking. Like last year in 2025, I ran 3. So now we're going to probably try like 4 a year, just because. Wow. Yeah, just because I kind of want to like get this done where I'm still feeling good. So our kind of theory is, because training for a marathon is a long, ignorant bastard of a time. It's, 12 to 16 weeks. So our theory is like, maybe we'll run, like for example, the spring marathon, maybe we'll run them closer together so you can take advantage of being trained and not have to train 4 different training blocks and training all year. It makes more sense to let's keep it to like 2. Yeah. Just because it's time consuming and whatnot. So that's kind of our strategy. I think we're going to roll with.
Yeah, no, it's a great strategy. I mean, I do similar things with like competing in jiu-jitsu. Like last year, I did like 3 competitions in a matter of 6 weeks. Because I was just like, I'm already in shape. I'm healthy. I don't have anything injured. Like, let's just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Because man, I'm sure after a marathon, you got to be beat up. You know,
you're beat up. Like you're beat up, but like within a week, you could almost feel like I'm ready to go again. At this point where I'm at now, like in the beginning, I took off the next day after running a marathon, which a lot of people do. Marathons are dumb. They always freaking have them on a Sunday, which is just like the next day is always a pain in the ass. They need to be on Saturday. Some are. But like now, I'm beat up. I'm very sore. But like if I needed to push mow the lawn the next day, I could like struggle through it. Like whereas before I would have been like, no way. You know, I
the ride again.
Yeah. Let me just, So, but yeah, it's funny how things change and your tolerance to things too.
Yeah, man. When I saw on social media that like all these marathons are on, I'm like, dude, guys built like Josh do not run marathons.
Yeah. Like, no, for sure.
Well, what I will tell you, having run many miles in Arizona, make sure you keep chapstick on you.
Yeah.
And drink water because your throat will become just as chapped as your lips if you don't.
Oh, yeah.
It's painful.
Around this time of year too, like I feel like I'm a fighter. Like I'll grease up my face with A&D just because it chaps and it becomes red. It's an ignorant thing.
Well, it's just a dry heat out there. And I mean, because for spring training, I think I told you this when we were talking about it, but we had to run time 2 miles in order for us to be able to practice.
Yeah.
And we had to run it 15 minutes or less.
Yeah, that's quick.
And so, I mean, in pushing for 2 miles isn't tough. Like, well,
just short burst.
When you're training like you have been for spring training to get ready, and as a pitcher, you should be able to do it. If all you're having to run is the longest you're gonna have to run is 2 miles, you should be able to knock 2 miles out in 15 minutes or less. Obviously trying to carry that pace over a much longer period of time, no fucking way.
Yeah.
No, thank you. But I mean, getting done with that, like my throat was killing me for weeks afterwards because it's so dry and deserty. It's just almost like you constantly have dust in your throat. So
you get me excited.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Just constantly make sure you're slugging some water to keep the throat
noted.
Throat wet.
Tell him to drink water while he's running a marathon. No shit.
It's actually water's important, but like mostly the electrolytes.
I'm not talking about like slugging bottles, but just enough to keep it wet.
Yeah. They gotta most marathons have aid stations every 2 miles, so you don't have to carry it on you. So they'll have water, Gatorade, electrolytes, things like that. So they take care of you usually. Good races. I've ran somewhere it's like spaced out every 5-6 miles. Or like what the hell is going on here? Like, everyone's down. Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Well, Josh, this has been awesome having you here, man. I've really enjoyed this, getting to know you and getting your whole story and everything. So, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Awesome. Well, before we get you out of here, we got one last question for you.
We end the show the same way. We play a little game called the Tombstone Game. You realize, Josh, what's it say on your tombstone?
Oh, man. This has been a big word this year for me that I'm just like keeping in my head. Can it be more than one word or just one word?
Whatever you want to say.
I lived a useful life. I like that. I lived a useful life. I think happiness, and this has not come from me. I've heard it a few different times, but like everyone's kind of looking for that, what does happiness mean? What does that look like? I think it's just being useful, purposeful, feeling useful for others and living useful that serves others. That's my mantra.
That's perfect.
I love it, man.
That's awesome, man.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for coming on, and thanks to everybody at home that watched or listened to this episode. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button for us yet, please do so. That would help us out a ton. Share this episode with a friend. Comment what you thought below, and we will see you next time.